That was a really big bonus content.
That was. Listen, we're just
That
giving
was like
people what they want,
probably,
whether they want it or not.
Yeah. That was like 26 minutes of just straight up nonsense. If you're wondering what's in our bonus content, nothing. It's just
It's professional yapping.
It's professional yapping.
As the kids say these days.
I mean, we yap a little bit here when we do these episodes with you, but like you don't get to hear like, more private stuff about us unless like you're listening to our bonus content, which is available to Apple subscribers. And if you go ahead and become I believe Siren Seeker, you get bonus
yes.
content on Ko-fi. So yeah, you have a lot of places to go and support us at. All right,
options.
Enough of that supporting yappity yap. So let's get into it.
Welcome to Story Sirens, the podcast where we deep dive into myths and legends from around the globe. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Yenny, and today we are finally doing the episode our darling Sarah has been so excited to do that she's driven me crazy about.
Yes. Today we are deep diving into a very scary woman. And while you've heard me mention her in previous episodes, I tried to keep it concise since I knew we'd give her an episode of her own. It's time to give Baba Yaga her time on stage.
And I am especially excited because it'll be the first time we go into Slavic folklore for an entire episode.
Yes.
That means no Greek, folklore, no nothing else. We're going to just focus Slavic, okay? Now, Sarah, I will say, I'm a bit confused as to what Baba Yaga is.
Naturally.
Is she a human? Is she a witch? A spirit? An ogress? My kindergarten teacher coming back to remind me of the time I couldn't spell fence properly, which, by the way, you cannot blame me. Fence with an S and fence with a C-E sounds exactly the same for a kindergarten. And this was trauma that I've dealt with. I'm 31 years old and I still think about her.
You know what? Trauma is perfect for this episode because, the question of what is Baba Yaga, that's actually a great question, Yenny. Perhaps it's the most unanswerable question.
Well, there you go.
Isn't human, and that's about as definitive of an answer as I can give you. So, Baba Yaga is one of the most famous figures in Slavic folklore. There are mentions of her in the written word as early as the 1750s, and there are wood cuttings of her that date back to the 1600s. Funny enough, some of the wood cuttings of Baba Yaga are believed to be politically satirical artwork, with Baba Yaga representing the old beliefs and traditions of the Russian people facing off against Peter the Great and his reforms, or other mystical and dangerous forces encroaching on Russia. But I digress. The word Baba has evolved throughout the years in the Russian language. In Old Russian, it meant a midwife or a sorcerer or fortune teller. But in modern Russian, Baba is short for babushka, which means grandmother. As for Yaga, there is no clean agreement from linguists as to what the word means. Translations range from words like wicked, snake, and forest dweller to verbs like to be angry and to tell someone off. The debate rages on. What historians, philosophers, and psychologists can agree on is that Baba Yaga is a symbol of change and transformation whenever she appears in a story. Whether that change is good or bad depends on the situation. But now I'm getting ahead of myself.
Which would make sense as to why there is a constant battle as to depicting whether our dangerous grandmother is an ogre or a witch or, well, you get the idea. Apparently, what most can agree to call her is Grandmother Witch. So I guess we can continue to do the same, but I don't know, Sarah. Baba Yaga seems less of a mouthful. Hey, speaking of which, I think you mentioned in a previous episode that she likes to eat children.
Now, you are getting ahead of yourself, lady. Let's start from the beginning of Baba Yaga, which, by the way, just like linguists can't agree on the meaning of her name, historians can't agree on her origin.
We're sorry for the confusion that this probably is bringing, but we're just as confused. So, yeah.
We're doing our best. We're going to bring you a few different versions.
Hashtag we are doing our best. All right. One story of Baba Yaga's origin involves a wicked soup. Don't believe me? Well, you can take it up with the Folklore Council. The devil was attempting to make the most perfect essence of evil, and so he added 12 of the most evil women into a cauldron. And then, of course, the appropriate seasoning. Do you think he used sazon completa? A little bit of cinnamon?
A little pollo, yeah.
Paprika? Paprika, a little bit?
Ooh, smoked paprika. It is the devil, after all.
Oh. That was a good one.
Thank you.
When the soup of evil was boiling in medium heat for about 20 minutes, the devil added his secret ingredient, his spit.
Ew, I was hoping for vinegar.
I mean, he's the devil. It makes sense. Spit or vinegar, it would have worked. Well, yeah. The devil sucked in the steam coming from the cauldron and let out a hawker into that cauldron.
Ugh.
From this soupy came out Baba Yaga, evil perfection personified.
It's kind of like Powerpuff Girls adjacent, except Chemical X is devil spit.
Oh my God. Professor Utonium was the devil. And no! Baba Yaga and her 3 sisters came out, which, by the way, oh my God.
Oh, it's her. It's the Powerpuff Girls.
It's the Powerpuff Girls. You guys will understand once Sarah talks about Baba Yaga's siblings, but this is literally the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Okay. Back to
we
the
now know
story.
The real origin story.
Buttercup is Baba Yaga.
No. Oh. Whew.
All right.
Oof. Okay.
Whew.
Anywho. Now, as she is the perfect evil, let's trademark that.
Sometimes she's the perfect evil, but yes, we are trademarking that.
Everything that Baba Yaga does has evil intentions, even if it seems like she is doing something good for someone. So there's always a catch.
Mm-hmm.
The most well-known story of Baba Yaga comes from the folklore Vasilisa the Beautiful, which can sort of be compared to Cinderella.
Ooh.
Sort of.
Oh.
Bear with me.
Okay.
Let's go through the story, shall we?
Let's.
In the story, Vasilisa is oh my God, she kind of sounds like Vaseline.
She does. I was thinking that too.
I was like, Vaselina?
Listen. Vaseline is an important and beautiful tool in our households. Vasilisa the Beautiful, I see the connection.
Vaselina, the necessary. All right.
Okay, we gotta focus.
Yeah, we gotta make this happen. I don't know. This is supposed to be every time we do like a crazy, scary episode, we just do this stuff. Jesus. Anywho, in this story, Vasilisa is a young and beautiful daughter of a merchant. Her mother falls ill, and while on her deathbed, Vasilisa's mother gives her a tiny wooden doll. Her mother tells her that in times of need, whether it be to save her from trouble or give her comfort, all Vasilisa needs to do is give it a little bit of food and a little bit of water. In other words, it's a voodoo doll. It has to be.
I was going to say, it'll come what? Say what now?
Yeah, it's a voodoo doll, that's for sure. But of course, Vasilisa was told to never let anyone see this doll, including her father. After her mother dies, her father remarries because he wants Vasilisa to have a mother figure, which makes complete sense, right?
Right.
Yeah. Why?
Okay.
She would have been fine. But alas, the whole point of the story is that she gets a stepmother.
Ugh.
So, her new stepmommy did not want a daughter, and especially one as beautiful as Vasilisa. She was known for her beauty, and of course, the stepsisters were not.
Oh, no.
When her father leaves on an extended trip out of town, Vasilisa's stepmother sold their house and moves them deep within the forest in hopes to not only try and work her stepdaughter to death without the townspeople knowing, but also, yeah, she was like trying to get her away to like try to kill her with all the torture mechanisms that she was
This is
using
horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. She also was trying to make sure that somehow in these chores that Vasilisa was doing, Baba Yaga would end up abducting her and eating her. So this stepmother is mean.
So the stepmother knows Baba Yaga is in the forest, and so she's sending out a beautiful child into the woods with the hopes that Baba Yaga would capture her?
Yeah, it's either you go and die from doing chores or you go and die by being eaten.
This woman is you know what? Baba Yaga is not what's our trademark? Perfect evil. This stepmother is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the stepmother is worse. But wait a second, Sarah.
Okay.
There's a happy ending, kinda.
All right.
Vasilissa's doll keeps her company throughout this whole time, helping her get through all the chores and giving her comfort. Her stepmother gives her merciless chores, and finally, in one of them, Vasilissa meets Baba Yaga. Grandmother Witch learns as to why Vasilissa was out alone in the woods and decides to give her impossible tasks that she must complete before she, Baba Yaga, returns home from her outing.
So we have more impossible tasks?
Yes, and by the way, if she did not complete them, she would be eaten. So she kind of had to complete them.
My gosh. So the stepmother is winning at this point in the story.
Winning, yeah.
Ugh.
When Vasilissa is just about to give up, her doll whispers to her, "Go to sleep, little one. I will take care of all the chores."
The doll is talking now?
Also, the doll talks. Yeah, the doll talks.
So we're feeding the doll, we're giving the doll beverages, and now the doll talk. Cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Why am I even questioning anything? What? Okay.
Why? Folklore logic.
I love
right?
it. I love it.
So that's your favorite thing to say. So there you go. Folklore logic.
Merch idea.
So, merch idea. So, Vasilissa's like, "All right, girl, you said you got it. I'm going to go take a little nappy." When Vasilissa wakes up, all the chores are done. And upon Baba Yaga's arrival, every task that she asked for was completed. When Baba Yaga questioned as to how she'd finished all the chores, Vasilissa was smart with her response and says, "By my mother's blessing."
Oh.
Whoa. Grandmother Witch ain't gonna have no blessings in her house unless they're blessings of evil. So, of course, she lets the girl leave and she's like, "Get out of here. Get out of here with your blessings. But here, I'm gonna give you some skull-shaped lantern filled with coals to help light up your family's home." Obviously,
Bronx
at this point,
Baba Yaga is my new favorite thing.
First of all, Vasilissa's like, "Where is that accent from, young?" Where's that accent
We're
from,
in Russia.
Grandmama?
What is going on?
So at this point, Vasilissa doesn't even ask why. She grabs the skull lantern, kind of wonders, what does she mean by my family needing light, right? Upon returning, Vasilissa learns that her stepmother and sisters were not able to light any candles or fire.
Oh.
When she brings the skull lantern in, her stepmother and sisters are burned to ashes.
What?
Immediately. Yeah. And then this is where, this part's kind of weird. So Vasilissa then just goes, "Okay, let me bury the skull lantern so nobody else can find it, and then let me move back to the capital city of Russia, become an assistant clothier, and capture the eyes of the Tsar, which, by the way, is going to end up marrying her." The end.
Okay.
The end. The end.
So it is a happy ending. Okay. All right.
It's kind of Cinderella-ish. I mean, I excluded a lot of portions of the story for time purposes, but I feel like all the key points are there. And I would like to say, Baba Yaga more than likely left to do an incantation on the mother's house because
so she couldn't light
she
the
gave
fires.
her these coals. Yeah.
Oh.
And so Baba Yaga does help, but by making Vasilissa an orphan. So,
but then Vasilissa,
and then the dad never comes back.
Oh yeah, where's the dad in all of this?
Of the dad. Yeah, I don't know.
Baba Yaga
Maybe
probably
got another wife,
or Baba Yaga probably cursed him so he would die because obviously he has terrible taste in women after his first wife. Okay, all right. So
Bronx Baba Yaga did her thing.
She did.
All right, and that's
she
it.
did. She gave Vasilissa a task. Vasilissa completed it. She gave her a flame inside of a human skull, and then Vasilissa got home, and the fire ate the stepmother and stepsisters. Okay, all right.
This story would have been funnier if Baba Yaga was Hispanic, and she's like, ¿Qué es tu nombre? Vaselina. Vaselina es tu nombre. Vaselina, ven acá. Ves ahí ya
Who
tu
named you
cosita.
this? Who named you this?
Yeah, who named you this, eh? That's what one of my dad, he's funny. My nephew's name is Gavin. And for a long time, my dad would call him Gabinete, which is like a cabinet. Because it sounds, he'd be like, Gabinete, ven pa' acá.
You know,
and that is the Cuban culture.
I love it. I love it. And as an aside, my mother must somehow be Cuban adjacent. I am kidding. But one of her cousins called her when her cousin was expecting her second child, and she was telling my mom, I have figured out a name that you can't make fun of, because my mother is notorious for being able to turn names into jokes. And
axe murderer.
Yes, and her cousin gave her the name, and my mom was immediately like, oh, yeah, we'll call her this, we'll call her this, we'll call her this. And her cousin's on the other end of the line going, dang it.
I thought I made
it perfect.
Simple enough.
Well, I really like this name, so I'm keeping it. And my mom's like, oh, yeah, it's a beautiful name,
go.
but still, like, we can still call her this.
Yeah. We need a little laughter.
Don't be so serious about it. Don't take things so seriously.
Ever after your harmony to the melody inside my head.
Listen, no.
See, come on, just what?
I don't know this song.
What?
What is it?
You don't know High School Musical?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Wow. I'm judging.
Only Baba Yaga can judge me. Okay. And speaking of Baba Yaga, after this story, Baba Yaga is a fascinating combination of wicked witch and fairy godmother, boogeyman, and benefactor, as we obviously saw in the fact of, like, I'm going to kind of torture Vasilisa, but I'm also going to help her in a very violent way. She seems to...
kill the whole family.
Really.
Kill the
whole family. She seems to take joy in subverting any character archetype humans place her into, making her unpredictable, frightening, and yet still magnetic. She helps Vasilisa overcome her terrible family, after Vasilisa survives Baba Yaga's tests, transforms a different Vasilisa, Vasilisa the Wise, in the Frog Princess, either for Baba Yaga's own entertainment or as a reward for the princess, questionable, then helps her prince rescue her, and helps another prince find a magical horse to save his wife in the story Maria Moravan, again, after he survives Baba Yaga's tests. She's never pleased to be helping the hero. And to remind our listeners, she hunts children to eat them and captures the souls of the recently deceased to either consume or use in her potions. She is many-faceted indeed.
Just like my kindergarten teacher, which I remembered her last name is Mrs. Clavella. Doesn't that sound evil?
That does sound evil.
I'm sure she's a very nice woman.
I'm sure too, but
if she's even alive still,
all that's going on in my head is Clavella Deville.
Clavella my mom
Deville.
used to do that. Like, Yenny, think about it like that. And I'd be like, I don't get it, Mommy. I don't want to go. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, aside from being made from evil soup and helping beautiful young women destroy their abusers and princes find their darlings, Baba Yaga is famous for living in the forest, a classic Slavic symbol for the transition from life to death, in a cottage that moves. But it isn't a very Howl's Moving Castle-ish cottage. Well, if you're watching the Howl's Moving Castle movie, it kind of is.
It really is.
It kind of is. Baba Yaga's house moves, or more accurately spins, on giant bird legs.
4 to be exact.
Right. Well, and it sometimes varies. Sometimes it's 4 and sometimes it's 2. I feel like 4 gives it more stability.
Me too.
The hut is said to have its own personality, its own sentience, and can wander wherever it pleases. When Baba Yaga is inside the hut, legend says that she lays across the entire living space. She stretches over the whole floor plan to get comfy, which is relatable.
I mean, every once in a while, you just need to sprawl out on your floor, maybe without pants on.
Oh.
And just breathe.
Just breathe, yeah.
Just breathe.
Yep.
Yeah.
When not keeping the fires burning in the massive stove in her home, she tends a garden filled with fruiting trees and herbs. But most of her garden's offerings are poisonous to humans. Her garden and home are contained within a fence that is, naturally, decorated with human skulls or made entirely from human bones. In some legends, she lives with her 2 elderly sisters, who are also called Baba Yaga. They too appear in the story Maria Moravan, and sometimes appear in variations of the Frog Princess and Vasilisa the Beautiful. The trio often acts with one mind or goal, and there are few distinguishing features between them.
AKA Powerpuff Girls. There it is. There it is.
It really,
you got Bubbles, Blossom, and then Buttercup / Baba Yaga. Oh my God, they even start with bees.
They do? Oh my gosh.
What?
Wow, mind blown.
There has to be some lore of Powerpuff Girls being
Well,
Baba Yagas.
Keeping with Baba Yagas and Powerpuff Girls, Baba Yaga can fly.
It's the Powerpuff Girls.
Right? But our dear grandmother witch doesn't fly with the aid of a broom. No, that's far too obvious. She flies, or rather, just hovers above the ground, either inside an iron kettle or inside a giant mortar and pestle. Sometimes she will keep a broom with her as she flies to sweep away her tracks. Sneaky lady.
Oh, sneaky.
As she flies, she creates giant windstorms. So if you live in a windy area like I do, check your weather forecast for chances of flying Baba Yagas, or just watch the horizon.
Yeah, Chicago must be filled with them because it's a windy city.
Exactly.
Baba Yaga's hometown. That's why. Now and then she goes to New York every once in a while to be with her Bronx family, her 2 Bronx sisters. There you go. Hold up. That's why Chicago's so windy, because she got to fly from one place to the other to see her sisters.
There we go. It's those air miles. Those air miles.
The air miles. I bet she has a bunch of free airline miles.
Ah, that'd be great. I doubt she uses them, though.
Probably not.
In some stories, Baba Yaga is described as a horrible, repulsive-looking old woman who is gross, unmannered, vicious, cruel, and as mentioned before, loves to eat children, especially when they are fried. That is specifically her favorite way to eat them. Despite eating as much as she can whenever she can, Baba Yaga is referred to as the ever-hungry and is frequently described as being skinny and withered. And Baba Yaga even refers to herself as the bony one. She is also said to have iron teeth and a nose so long it touches the ceiling when she sleeps. Yikes! Yet in other tales, she appears as a tricky but helpful old woman who is the unsung hero of the story. She's still terrifying to behold in these stories, too. Baba Yaga often takes on the role of trickster in her legends. Whenever she enters a story, the planned and organized way of doing things vanishes. She is there to disrupt the natural order of events and is the catalyst or symbol of significant change. There may be a reason for her intervening in the hero's story, or she may just be bored and want something to do with her afternoon.
She's giving me chismosa vibes, and chismosa is like a nosy person who wants to be in everything, and I feel like that's what Baba Yaga does.
Absolutely.
And hear me out. Baba Yaga is also known to leave her hut in the mornings, primarily to hunt for her next meal, and returns by the evening. She also cares for a flock of black geese, which she commands to circle the skies in search of little children by their lonesome selves in the forest. Why do you need hounds when you've got geese?
I would argue that geese are scarier than hounds.
There you go. And then if you don't remember, for my whole comparison of chismosa, she asked Vasilisa, aka Vaselina, why are you here? Right? Why did you come by? And then when Vaselina told her the truth, guess what she did? She went over there to check.
Yeah.
To see. And she's like, oh, you're trying to be my personified evil, perfection evil, TM trademark? Hell no, I'm gonna burn your ass.
There's room for only one true evil.
There's room for only one. There you go. We've tied it all in. We've Powerpuff Girl chismosa status.
As mentioned earlier, Baba Yaga confuses audiences with her origin stories. While Yenny mentioned her birth from an evil soup, many scholars believe the Baba Yaga we know today is a derivative of an ancient Slavic earth goddess. This goddess was often depicted sitting inside an iron mortar and wielding an iron pestle, ruling the underworld, and expecting blood sacrifices. She would then offer the blood to her 2 granddaughters, who historians believe became Baba Yaga's sisters in modern stories. She has similarities and is often compared to Persephone.
What?
I will explain.
How?
She is a goddess of the earth, closely associated with nature, who breaks apart the soil and helps food grow, but who also dwells in the wild parts of our world, or the dark of the underworld, capturing souls to judge or devour. In essence, she is a link between the earth and the underworld. In some legends, Baba Yaga is a representative, avatar, or allegory for Mother Earth. In a portion of Vasilisa the Beautiful's tale Yenny didn't get to cover.
Hey, for time purposes, might I add.
Before arriving at the witch's house, Vasilisa encounters 3 riders on horseback, one white, one red, one black. She asks Baba Yaga who the riders are. The witch responds that they are, respectively, day, sun, and night. And they do as she says, demonstrating her control over the natural world. Her unpredictable character is reflective of the unpredictability of nature. And while she viciously takes life away, she can also be a giver or savior of life. Baba Yaga is an elemental, mercurial being. She exists outside of society and its standards by living in the woods alone.
Or with her sisters.
And doing as she pleases. Outside of morality.
By eating children or unwillingly helping them.
Outside of conventions.
By being a simultaneous villain and a savior in some stories.
And outside of time.
A mythical...
Oh, Yenny, let me say this one.
Fine.
By being a mythical figure from the 17th century or before, and who has seen a resurgence of popularity here in the 21st century. She gives help when asked, though she is rarely pleased to do so and requires a great deal of work.
And suffering from the asker, might I say.
She is a hospitable host who often offers food and drink to weary travelers.
Whether the traveler will ever leave her hut is another thing. More than likely, she's fattening them up before deep frying them with a little bit of smoked paprika.
She is a lover of riddles. Those who answer her riddles are often spared.
And, of course, those who do not are eaten. Surprise, surprise.
And, most importantly, she is a being of her word. If Baba Yaga makes a promise, she follows through with it. Baba Yaga is the ultimate last resort for a protagonist, but she certainly makes herself an excellent ally. So, is Baba Yaga a symbol of the kinder, braver parts of human nature overcoming the more vicious aspects of human nature, as psychologist Carl Jung once theorized? Ooh, psychology and fairy tales. What a combo!
Perhaps.
Is Baba Yaga a symbol of the wisdom and intellect found in the natural world and in the elderly in our society?
Possibly.
Could Baba Yaga be the cruelest and last version of a maternal figure, offering both guidance and destruction for lost children in a cruel world?
More than likely, but we'll keep it at a maybe.
Is Baba Yaga here to help you? No.
Absolutely not.
Is it possible she will? Yes.
For a price.
Should you chance seeking her out in the woods? We'll leave that up to you.
But I think we've given you enough, guidelines that maybe you should just walk the other way. If you see a hut with 4 chicken legs or 2, maybe just go the other way. It's not a cool museum. It's not abstract, okay?
It is not Howl's Moving Castle.
It is not. There is no hot wizard man who has a very extensive collection of different potions and hair dyes. None of that. None of that.
So, let's jump into Baba Yaga in modern media. Many of you may recognize that Baba Yaga is the nickname of Keanu Reeves' character John Wick in the John Wick franchise. Is it because he's old and magical? No. Is it because he's terrifying beyond comprehension? Absolutely.
And, really, don't mess with people's dogs, dog.
Oh, man. That is one of the main reasons I love that series. If you are willing to brave Baba Yaga's fearsomeness in exchange for her wisdom, look no further than the book Ask Baba Yaga, Otherworldly Advice for Everyday Troubles by Tazia Kitaskaya. It is a delightful read. It really is very fun. It's available on Amazon.
Into the Forest, Tales of the Baba Yaga is a collection of short stories inspired by Tales of Baba Yaga, edited by Lindy Ryan.
Baba Yaga makes a terrifying appearance in the 2019 movie Hellboy. She's horrible to look at.
I haven't even watched that movie. I need to watch it.
It's really scary.
Then never mind. I ain't gonna watch it.
My husband and I went to see it because I liked the previous 2 Hellboys, but this is a totally different director and take on the Hellboy universe, and I was just sitting there with my hands over my eyes most of the time.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not then. Fun fact, Baba Yaga was the inspiration for Yubaba and Zeniba in Hayao Miyazaki's film Spirited Away.
Baba Yaga appears in several episodes of the No Sleep podcast, a horror anthology podcast, including Season 13, Episode 2 story, 7 Hand-Tied Knots by Easy Morgan, and this October story, Ragdoll Meets Baba Yaga by Marcus Demanda.
Vasilissa's tale is retold in Angela Slater's short story, The Bone Mother, found in the anthology Beyond the Woods, Fairy Tales Retold, edited by Paula Garan.
For more myths and legends that involve Baba Yaga, we highly recommend Andreas John's book, Baba Yaga, the ambiguous mother and witch of the Russian folktale.
I think we've told you guys enough stories about the very confusing, more than likely very evil Baba Yaga. So now we're going to switch up to our siren call.
Yay!
After all this confusion as to what Baba Yaga might be, whether or not she will eat you, and whether or not she reminds you of your kindergarten teacher, Miss Clavella, let's keep it short and simple, shall we?
Please.
Go watch Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away. It's wholesome. We need wholesome.
Heck yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for being here. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow us on Instagram at Story Sirens Podcast. Want to support us? Send us a cup of Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. All research materials can be found in the episode summary. Music by Donald Guzzi and artwork by Alexis Torres. Story Sirens is a Feather and Fin production. See you soon.